This is the story of a true scary boating experience I'm going to tell you. It's something that happened to me and a few friends, and even now when I talk about it, I get chills. It was supposed to be just a fun day out on the water, you know? But it turned into something none of us will ever forget. It all started last summer. My friends, Daniel, Chloe, Mike, and I had planned a little trip to a big lake that was about 2 hours from our town. It wasn't a place many people went to. That was part of the charm. Quiet, peaceful, away from the noise of the city. We even rented a small boat to take out for the whole day. It had a little motor, some life jackets, and a cooler filled with drinks and snacks. Everything felt perfect. When we got there, the sun was high, the water looked like a giant piece of glass, and there wasn't another soul around. It felt like we had the whole place to ourselves. We laughed, played music, and even jumped into the water to swim around a bit. Hours passed, and we didn't have a care in the world. Around late afternoon, Mike suggested we head towards the far end of the lake. He said he had heard there was an old houseboat abandoned somewhere over there, tied up in the reeds. He thought it would be cool to check it out. Now looking back, I wish we had just stayed where we were. But at the time, it sounded exciting, like a little adventure. So we turned the boat and made our way across the water. The sky had started to turn a little gray, but we didn't think much of it. It happens sometimes, right? Clouds roll in, maybe a little rain, no big deal. We kept going. As we got closer to the far side, the water started to look different. Darker, almost oily, and it got really quiet. No birds, no bugs, no wind. Just the sound of our little motor and the soft slap of water against the boat. Chloe got a bit nervous and said maybe we should turn back, but Mike and Daniel teased her for being scared. I didn't say anything, but I felt it too. That weird, heavy feeling in the air, like something was watching us. Finally we saw it, the houseboat. It was bigger than I thought it would be. Gray, leaning to one side, windows broken out. It looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Thick green weeds wrapped all around it, and the water underneath was so dark you couldn't see even an inch below the surface. We tied up next to it. Mike, being Mike, immediately jumped onto the deck. It groaned under his weight, but it held. He laughed and waved at us to come on. Chloe refused. She said she would stay on our boat. I hesitated, but Daniel was already climbing up, so I followed. Inside, it smelled like rot and old water. The floor was soft in places, and everything was covered in dirt and mold. There were old chairs, broken bottles, a ripped-up couch. It looked like people had once lived there, but it had been abandoned for a long, long time. We walked around for a bit, joking and exploring. Mike found a staircase that led down to the lower level. He dared us to go down there. Daniel went first, and I followed. It was even darker down there, barely any light coming through the broken windows, and that's when we heard it. A soft thudding, noise, like footsteps, but not ours. They were slow, heavy, coming from the back of the boat. We froze. I looked at Daniel. He looked at me. We both knew we hadn't made that noise. Mike called out, "Hello? Anyone there?" His voice sounded way too loud in that stillness. No answer. But the thudding came again, closer this time. We ran. I don't even remember deciding to run. It just happened. We scrambled back up the stairs and onto the deck. Chloe was screaming from our boat, yelling at us to hurry. As we jumped back onto our boat, something slammed against the houseboat. It was so hard that the whole thing shook. I looked back just once, and I saw something at one of the broken windows. I swear to you, it was a face. Pale, hollow eyes, mouth open too wide, like it was silently screaming. It wasn't human, or at least it didn't look human anymore. Mike yanked the motor to start. It and for a terrifying moment, it wouldn't start. Over and over he pulled, cursing and panicking. Meanwhile, the water around us started to ripple, like something was moving underneath. Big ripples circling the boat. Finally, the motor roared to life and we tore away from that place. None of us said a word. We just stared straight ahead, gripping the sides of the boat. About halfway back to the dock, the sky broke open and it started pouring. Sheets of cold rain slapped us in the face, and the lake churned under us. It felt like the whole world had turned against us. When we finally made it back to the shore, we practically threw ourselves onto dry land. We didn't even pull the boat up properly. We just left it there and ran to the car. The drive back was dead silent. No music, no talking. Just the sound of the tires on the wet road and the beating of our hearts. Later that night, Daniel called me. He sounded shaken. He said after he got home, he kept hearing something outside his window, like scratching, slow and steady. He said he didn't dare look. Mike told me he had nightmares for weeks. He dreamed about the face in the window, about being dragged underwater by cold hands. As for me, I couldn't sleep for days. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the houseboat. I heard the thudding footsteps. I felt that awful gaze from the window. And here's the part that still gives me chills, even today. A few weeks later, I looked up the lake online. I found an old news article. About 10 years ago, there had been a family living on a houseboat. Out there, one night, for reasons nobody ever figured out, the father went crazy. He attacked his wife and kids, and then himself. The boat had been left to rot ever since. Locals said it was cursed, that no one who went near it came back the same. We didn't know that. We just thought it was an abandoned boat. We thought it was a fun little adventure. But sometimes when you go looking for ghosts, you don't find them. They find you. And if you're lucky, they just let you go. We were lucky, I think.